With the release of The Nun later this week, the entire Conjuring franchise was put back into theaters for a couple days in a few theaters. I got to see the one that started it all on the big screen the way it's meant to be seen. I'm very glad I did. I have some updated thoughts on it. I figured since I reviewed The Conjuring 2, why don't I just review the original? So here we go. I'm John Hayeck and welcome to my movie thoughts. The Conjuring. So this movie came out in 2013 and was directed by James Wan and starred Patrick Wilson, Vera Farmiga, amongst others. It had Joey King, Mackenzie Foy, a bunch of young actors in it. And it focuses on this family, the parents, mother, father, 5 daughters, and they move into this old house in Harrisburg, I think it is, Rhode Island. And basically they find that some weird stuff's going around the house. The dog turns up dead. They have this weird tugging feeling on their legs at night. There's a strange smell in the house. It's like spoiled meat. They're like, what's going on? This is pretty strange. And then before long they start seeing apparitions in the house, so they call in the Warren family to investigate. Ed and Lorraine Warren are the by far most qualified people to take on any paranormal activity going on in the Northeast area, or maybe even the country, or perhaps the world, as we saw in The Conjuring 2 when they go to England, and they are super gifted. Lorraine Warren is a clairvoyant. She can kind of communicate and see what some of these spirits see. She can see beyond what's essentially going on in front of most people. Ed Warren, he's good with the technology, he has the resources, he understands research-based stuff, and the two of them make a perfect team coming in to try to help this family out of their predicament. And the thing that really works with this movie is the way it's executed, because this is kind of your average, ghost story, I guess you could say. It really does follow the beats that movies like The Exorcist follow, like movies such as The Conjuring 2 follow. For me, I think this same story has been told in better ways before. It's been told in more original ways before. You're not seeing anything particularly new, but you are seeing something that is really just to be appreciated for its craft. Because the original Conjuring really makes an effort to make you feel as though you are in this house with the parent family, like you are experiencing the horror the way they're experiencing. There's a lot of long takes in this movie. The first time you go into the house in its entirety, you see the house just as one big long take. You move into the house, you go through the family room, you go into the dining room, you go into the kitchen, you go out the back porch, you come back in, and you see this house the way the family is seeing it. But what's interesting is that the camera work really is to be admired in this film, because what happens is whenever something pulls up outside the house, whenever the family's outside the house, you always see them through a window of the house. So the camera is stationed in the interior of the house and you see the family outside, as if you're put into the perspective of the spirits in this movie, which is really frightening to think that you're like right alongside them. It makes you feel as though you're in the same danger the parent family's in, and you're like just tripped out. I feel like some of the apparitions in this movie, the effects are quite good for. I also think that the fear just feels palpable throughout the entire movie. Sequences are built so suspensefully. Anytime there's a sequence in the bedroom shared by the two little girls, particularly the ones where the girl's leg is being pulled in the middle of the night, I just felt like I couldn't bear it anymore, because the score was building so intensely that by the time one of the girls, like, there's someone right behind that door, and then something finally happens, you just completely lose your mind. You feel like you just can't stand the tension anymore because the music's building, and you feel like there's so much to lose at this point. The family chemistry you believe, which makes you invested in what's going on to this family, you really feel as though you are there. It feels like this could be a suburban house that really anybody's near. It has the same layout, again, the same thing you've seen before, whether it be a kitchen, a living room. It feels like it's a family that gets along. It feels like it's a family that you want to survive this terrible thing that's happening to them. And it feels like a movie that, again, the craft, just the editing, the score, I feel like the camera work really just adds to this being a movie that, even though the story you've seen before, it winds up being something that you remember because the scares were set up so effectively, some of the scares you do not see coming at all, and just because even though this movie isn't redefining the genre in any way, it shows that you can do some of the same tropes in new ways, and you can do some of the tropes in the same ways that can still be efficiently executed in super scary ways that will continue to make horror audiences wanting to come back for more. James Wan directed one heck of a movie in this case. I really enjoyed The Conjuring. I enjoyed it more on the big screen than I did the first time around. There was a lot I liked even more of this time around. I feel like some of the cuts between the Warren family and the parent family are a little bit, sloppy from time to time, but besides that, guys, I really recommend you go and see The Conjuring if it's playing in a theater near you right now. If you haven't seen it yet, I believe it's streaming on Netflix right now. It still doesn't match The Conjuring 2 for me. There are other horror movies I've seen in the past few years that I love even more than it, but it is a movie that, having reevaluated, I think I like even more, and I'm looking forward to rewatching it again at some point. But guys, those are just my thoughts on the original Conjuring. Be sure to let me know all yours in the comment section down below. You guys can go over to mymoviethoughts.com, follow me on Twitter at John Hayeck, and subscribe to the YouTube channel for tons more posts. Maybe links to all three of those in the comment section down below. You guys know also like this video, comment on it, share it with some friends. I am John Hayeck, so thank you guys so much for watching.